All right, we've got a Grimdark Future battle report today. My high elf fleets again against some human defense force. 3,500 points. I'm loving this new point total. Let's get into it. So it's 3,500 points, four objectives. Both of us are bringing some all-comer lists. So again, both of us have things in our lists which may not be quite tweaked to each other's lists, but we are trying to think about just bringing some all-comers lists. So I'll go into mine. So mine is very similar to the other one. I've basically dropped the Dragon squad. I think the Dragons were a little too pricey, and I've added in a third Avenger squad. I think that Avengers are they're just really solid. But let's go into it. So I've got two Elven Nobles. One is on a jet bike. He's got the Shield of Grace, which is the shield wall, and he's running with an energy spear. I've got the other Elven Noble who's basically Karandras. He's got Psychic. He's running shield wall on him personally. He's got a Scorpion suit. He'll be running with the Scorpions. Also energy spear. 10-man Storm Squad. I've just got them with energy swords. I didn't put anything else on them. I think these guys are going to die pretty fast, so just stuck them on with some energy swords. They're going to be scouting ahead. Three Avenger squads, all armed the same, basically with their shard combines, and two with energy swords. So really like this combo. I love the two energy swords that just give them a little extra versatility in combat. Banshee squad. I've actually dropped the deadly sword. I think with only being AP1, I don't like the killing swords for 15 points. So I'm just running the two mirror swords now with them. A spider squad, who I've got upgraded with the twin web spinner and the. I had 5 points, so I put the spider blades on him. A scorpion squad that I have with two dual energy swords. Yeah, these guys are terrific. They'll be scouting up as well. Got a reaper squad that I have with the. I've switched out and actually gave them the deadly shot missiles. So these guys are kind of my. Since I dropped the dragons, I wanted to have some deadly in here, so I put it on the reapers. And then I've got my jet bike squad with the shard guns, and I've got the laser lances, 2-star lances, and I've got stealth on them as well. So they're expensive, but this is a really good all-comer squad. It can take care of chaff with all the shard guns, but it also can take care of deadly stuff with all the lances. So for my opponent, Human Defense Force, he's got a company leader. He's got Take Aim, some heavy armor, and an energy sword. He's got a storm leader with Take Aim. Take Aim's great. Plasma pistol, energy sword. Two infantry squads that he's got some plasma rifles on. Veteran squad that he's got some plasma rifles on. He's got an auto cannon on. He's given them heavy armor as well. And then he's got one with plasma rifles and he's got one with fusion rifles. So two veteran squads. He's got some storm squads here with some heavy rifles and heavy volley guns. A sniper squad. He's got an ogre squad where he's got the shield wall on them. And he's got some battle tanks. So he's got 3 battle tanks. He's got flamethrowers, which I love. He's got flamethrowers on all 3 of them, which I think is great. He's got one with a battle cannon, one with an anti-tank cannon that's that deadly 6, and one with a plasma cannon, which is heavy plasma cannon, blast 6, absolutely nasty. 2 light walkers, both with scout, and he's got them both with stealth as well. And they've got auto cannons, and he's got some hunter killers as well on them. So a nice all-comer list in here. A little elite as well. All right, so just going into the setup here. So just looking at here, a lot of my army is just pretty straightforward. Got my jet bikes, my scorpions, banshees, my reapers. There are my 3 Avenger squads, and then I've got my storm squad as well, along with my noble who's Karandras. For him, he's got one of these guys is his infantry squad. The Kador heavy infantry, this is his ogres. He's got his 3 tanks. He's got his 2 walkers over here on the far left. Below them is his 3 scout squads. He's then got his two infantry squads with the auto cannons. And he's got his other 2 infantry squads, one with the plasma rifles and one's with the melta guns, the fusion guns. So on the setup, this is after we've done setting up, there's 4 objectives here. I'll kind of show what the objectives are. One of the objectives, so this is his side. We ended up just having objectives close to each side. So he put one of his here. The other objective you'll see later is actually under that. It's under one of these. This building. If you actually see his ogres and one of his infantry squads, one of the objectives is actually tucked into that building where it's almost like an arrow here. You'll see it later on here. So yeah, that's just on his side. He's got his 2 walkers that he's scouted up. He's got a infantry squad there, and he's got a tank. This is on his far right. Toward his center, he's got one of his other tanks. He's got one of his infantry squads that he's going to be moving up into the building next turn, and he's got his other infantry squad here on the right. If you look, there's kind of this piece of terrain that's got kind of like almost like an up arrow where the ogres and where the infantry squad is. The objective is actually tucked under there, and you'll see it later on. But so that's where one of his objectives are. And then his other second objective is, the blue. We're using these dice, so the blue dice on top here. He's got his veteran squad on the far left. He's got an infantry squad, a storm squad. His storm squad is on the far left in the black. He then has his veteran squad here, and he's got a tank running up here. You can see I've actually gone ahead and scouted up my scorpions, and I've scouted up my my storm guardians. So the plan is I'm going to try to hit these infantry pretty hard, and I'm going to try to deny him this objective, this blue dice objective here. On my side, so this is where my objective is. It's in this building, that black dice on the far left. I'm not too worried about getting it the first turn because I have the speed, especially with my jet bike. So I actually just basically want to be in cover. He's got a lot of long range fire, so I don't worry about getting close to the objective. I can reach that. So I set up 2 of my Avengers here, using them as kind of chaff. I got my spiders behind them, and I have my banshees behind the adventurers in the center, and then I have my jet bikes running behind them. Towards the center here, you can see I've got my storm squad that have been scouted up. And then this is my other objective. You see where you have this Avenger squad with the red helmets and my Reapers? One of my objectives, and you'll see it, is actually in the bottom floor of the building towards the right. You can actually see that dice here in this picture here. There's a blue dice right in front of those red dire Avengers. And that's where one of my objectives are. And that's on my far right. That's just another picture of the battlefield, and you can kind of see here that he's scouted up his walkers on my far left, and I've scouted up my units on my far right. So we're kind of using our scouts to kind of contest the opposite objectives. All right, turn 1. He does get first activation. He's got his scouts. They kind of snuck up, but you didn't see them. On the top of this tower here, he's got his scout squad with snipers. And they shoot into my leader. They want to try and take out my leader with psychic, so they shoot him. They do 1 wound on him, but he's still alive. In response to that, I just take my scorpions and I charge his storm squad. And, these scorpions just mow down that storm squad completely. So, yeah, I just completely kill them. And then I basically consolidate towards that area, towards moving a little bit more. That's just the consolidation move that I'm moving a little closer. For his turn, he turns that heavy tank on the top left and he shoots. He kills 6 of my scorpions. Even with the stealth, that's just a lot of shooting on that tank. But they pass their morale check. In response to that, sorry it's a little blurry, but I go ahead and I charge in my storm squad. He has an infantry squad here, so I just hit them. I basically kill 9 of those guys, and there's 1 left, and he breaks. So killed them, and that's great. Already I've managed to take out 2 of those squads on this side. This is just my storm squad consolidating and basically blocking him from grabbing that blue objective here. So kind of just being very aggressive on this side here. In response to that, he moves up 1 of his walkers. You don't see it, so that his walker on the top left moves, and he shoots at my bikes, but with cover, and I have stealth on those bikes. He doesn't, and I think he hits once, but I have my shield wall, so I actually make saves with the bikes. He doesn't do any damage on the bikes, which are pretty tough. In response to that, I just rush up 1 of my Avenger squads toward the center. he then on the top, you see it's that top building there, the top black building. His one of his big infantry squads move up, and they shoot into my Avengers. They kill 3 of my Dire Avengers. I move up my Avengers on the bottom, and I shoot that walker towards the back. He has stealth and it's cover, but I actually rolled like 5 or 6 sixes for Rens, and I actually did like 4 wounds. I had a really great roll. I think I rolled like 6 Rens, and takes him down to I do 4 wounds on him, takes him down to 2, and actually he fails his morale check. So this walker in the back is actually pinned. So really great rolls for me. That's the thing with high elf fleets. If you get those Rens off, it's really tough for them to just, really tough for an opponent to do much when you start rolling those Rens. So I rolled really great here, did 4 wounds, even with stealth and cover, and just pinned him. He moves this squad up in the buildings, and they shoot at the Avengers. They kill 4 of my Dire Avengers here in response to me wavering that walker. I move up my Reapers, so they grab the objective on the bottom floor, and then they shoot at that tank that shot at my at the top, the beige tank. They shot at my Scorpion. My Reapers move up and they shoot that tank with their deadly. They do 3 wounds on him, but he's fine. The infantry squad move up and they shoot at the Avengers, but with cover, they miss the Avengers. They also grab that objective here. So that infantry squad that just moved up, they grab the objective. I move up my white Dire Avenger squad, and I shot at the infantry up on the top building. I shot at the infantry in this, and you can see this is where the objective is. So I shot at the infantry that shot at me. I rolled great. I think, again, these guys are in cover, but I rolled just a lot of 4s, 5s, and 6s. I got some Rens in there. And I killed 8 of these guys. So these Avengers are just rolling great. He did pass his morale, but as you can kind of see, I've cut down this squad down to 2. So great rolling on my part, though he does still have this objective. He moves his center, his gray tank, he moves him over. This is the anti-tank tank, but he also has a heavy flamer on this thing. So he shoots, he kills 5 of my Storm Squad, but they also pass their morale. So putting heavy flamers on those tanks was very useful. I move up my Spider Squad, and I shoot at his Walker that had moved up, the close one, and I do 3 wounds on him. He also fails his pinning check. So he's also not rolling great on his morale checks. Now both of his Walkers are pinned. That's just showing another view on it. I then rush to the objective here. He also, after that, I rush here, and I don't show it, but he does unpin his Walker as part of this. But the jet bikes rush to grab the objective. And then the Banshees also rush into the terrain, so they're just rushing forward to try to get in hand-to-hand. And that's the end of the battlefield here. You can see he didn't remove this pin marker, but he does unpin this Walker. And while the other Walker is also pinned as well. So some of those pin markers aren't quite accurate here. But you can see on the first turn, just my high elf fleets just kind of move up. I get some really good rolls, and I'm doing pretty good so far. It was really great that I got 2 of those pins on those Walkers, so that it's going to slow him down on this bottom part. Turn 2. So he gets to go first, and the first thing he does, he takes that tank and he shoots. He finishes off my Scorpions and my leader, so they're dead. My leader did get the +1 defense off, but that didn't matter. I got the +1 defense on them and the Storm Guardians. That's the reason the Storm Guardians actually only lost 5. But yeah, so he went first, and he immediately just took out my Scorpions. That's just them down. In response, I moved my Dire Avengers, and I shot at that squad in the top. So I shot at the squad in this tower here. I killed 5 of them, but they're not quite below 50%. But these Dire Avengers, yeah, they shot into the squad, killed 5 of them. That gray tank actually shot into my Banshees. No, I'm sorry. It's the battle tank, the one with the battle cannon, and just killed 8 of my Banshees. They did pass the morale, but yeah, those tanks are pretty nasty. So shot and killed a lot of my Banshees. I move up my jet bikes and I shot at the walker, but they actually didn't do any damage. So that just kind of shows you that when you don't get your Wrens off, it's not nearly as powerful. So they moved up. They shot that walker and didn't do any damage. The infantry squad in the building, in the beige building, moves up, and this is the one with the fusion guns. They shot and they took out one of my jet bikes. I then moved up my red Dire Avenger squad, and we shot the squad in the tower again. So it shot at them, killing a few more of them. Killing them down to 2. So now it's just the leader and the autocannon who's got like a wound on him. So I've really thinned out this squad in the tower. The sniper squad, they shoot at the Reapers. They take out one of those Reapers. The Reapers, in turn, they shoot at that beige tank. They do 6 wounds on him, but he passes his morale. But still, that tank's only got 3 wounds left. The infantry squad with the autocannon in the tower here, they actually shoot at my Reaper. They take out 1 more. And the Reapers actually fail their morale check, so that's that white. So they are pinned. There's just 1 Reaper left. At this point, my Guardians basically just run up the tower. So we're playing this tower, it's 6 inches of movement to move up the tower. So my Storm Guardians just basically charge up the tower and attack. They take out everyone, and the leader has basically 1 wound left on him, but he does pass his morale. I think he takes out a Storm Guardian or 2, but he passes his morale, so it's just they're just now fighting over the tower. So this is, you didn't see this here, but there is the tank in the top left. It moves into the building. It shoots into my spiders and takes out 1 of my spiders, but it also shoots into the jet bikes, and it takes out 2 of my jet bikes. So you didn't see that here, but yeah, I'm just showing the spiders he took out 1 of the spiders, but also you're going to see 2 of the jet bikes are also dead. I didn't get a picture of that. I'll show you that tank later that shot at those jet bikes. The Dire Avengers then charge. I'm trying to just win the morale, but actually I fail to wound. He fails the wound, so basically we both stick. Those power swords didn't come through for me. The spiders then move up and they shoot the walker with 3 wounds, and they kill it. At that point, you don't see it here, but this other walker then unpins. The Avengers move up and they shoot. So they shoot at the ogres, but they fail to wound them. So they shot at these 3 ogres, but with the cover and the shield wall. Again, I also didn't roll any Wrens. And that's the thing with high elf fleets. If you don't get the Wrens off, they're much less effective. So these ogres don't even take a single wound. This is the tank that shot my spiders and shot my jet bikes. You can see there's just 4 of them left. So at this point, the jet bikes charge the tank with their lances, and the leader, they attack. They do 10 wounds on the tank, and at that point, the tank routs, and the tank is gone. They just consolidate into the building. And turn 3, so it's not looking good for him. I've had some pretty good rolls, and I've been pretty aggressive. So on his turn, one of his remaining tanks just moves up and actually shoots into the Storm Guardians in the building. Remember, he's got his heavy flamer as well. He takes them down to 2. He kills them down to 2, but they do pass their morale. And I've actually been pretty good about my morale checks this game. So, but they pass the morale, but they are down to 2. The Avengers charge, and basically they do 1 wound on the Walker, but the Walker does 1 wound. So basically it's just a tied combat here. So the infantry squad, that's the one in the corner building here. They actually shoot at the Avengers, but they miss. So again, there's just 2 of them left, so they shoot at the Avengers and they're fine, but they don't hit anything. The spiders actually move up, and they actually shoot at the wounded tank, the one with 9 wounds, and so they finish the tank off as well. And the snipers actually shoot at the remaining Reaper, taking it down. You can see on the bottom, I've got my lone Reaper dead, so the Reapers are gone. And at this point, yeah, the Avengers, so they move up and they shoot at the Ogre, so it is cover, but again, I just roll really crazy good, and I actually wipe out, so I roll like, again, I think I rolled just like 5 or 6 Wrens, and I actually take out the Ogres. I wipe them out to a man. And I think just with another really good Rend roll, I think my opponent just called it there. We at that point, yeah, just I just had some really good Rend roll this game, and just I think when he saw his Ogres just get wiped out by those Dire Avengers, he just called it, which is fine. It's a rough game, but so I did win, and you can this is just an overview of the battlefield. You can see that. My Avengers had basically the bottom flank had completely been crushed, and just him losing his Ogres, the middle flank and even the top right was all pretty much gone. This is just the center flank showing that the objective, the blue dice objective in the top was basically going to be mine too. So yeah, he just called it at turn 3. I'm just showing some last picks of the battlefield. And yeah, oh, that's just one more picture here. You can just see even the bottom flank here was completely cleaned up. And that's the end of the game. So it is a turn 3 concession to the High Elf fleets. I rolled great, and I just High Elf fleets. Whenever they get their Rend rolls off, whenever they get those 6s for Rens, I mean, like it is so difficult. I mean, like I said, those things, that AP4 on those Rens are just gonna tear up everything. So I did get some really good Rend rolls, and that just kind of skewed the battle in my favor. So, but some learning points. So yeah, I just, Rend, whenever you roll those 6 for Rend, there's just not a lot your opponent can do. And I had some really good Rend rolls, and Dire Avengers especially. I love Dire Avengers. Just those 18-inch shard guns, shard combines are so good. I've noticed that I didn't need as much deadly as I first thought. I think just that third Dire Avenger squad, I didn't need the dragons. I felt that just with the Wrens, I was able to handle it. Yeah, High Elf fleets, I have a really hard-hitting army. That did really well. I really love 3,500 points. I know that my opponent wants to go back to the drawing board. I think he wants to add some more. I think his army was a little too elite. We talked about this afterwards. I think he does want to add in some more chaff to his army. This is the other thing. It's the last game in the old rules. So 3.0 just dropped for Patreons. So we're looking forward to trying out the new rules. So this is our farewell to 2.0 and on to 3.0. All right, thanks for watching. You can always play me on Universal Battles. I'm always interested in feedback. Like, subscribe, and comment. And if you're in Austin, you can always join the Austin Alternative Gaming Freaks. Thank you guys so much.